Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin-Business show with your hosts, Brian Magleby and Tyler Price.
Hey,
we're
here.
Back. Oh, we got that beautiful white building in the background.
I was walking the river and it looks a little like that, all frozen up, and
it is
this
gorgeous.
Morning, it was like 12 degrees.
Did you go take that picture, Tyson?
I may as well.
But that's how, yeah.
Gorgeous, man. That is beautiful. Frozen. That could have possibly been taken this morning.
Yeah.
So, anyway, good to have you back on Talking Business last week. Shane Murphy.
Shane's just out, hustles, and the guy knows a lot about real estate. He knows a lot about the to-go drinks, emphasis on the coffee and the Java Espresso. I think I said Express earlier, but
Espresso, we got to get that right. I gave him the opportunity to slug me if I said it wrong, and he never slugged me, so that was good last week. So Java Espresso here in Eastern Idaho, and then they're expanding down to Utah, and I think they're up to,
cool
10
things.
locations?
Yep.
It's like 14, maybe 14, I can't remember. So anyway, great company and great entrepreneur there. We always like to have those super entrepreneurs. But let's talk about today. Today's it is the season to be giving. And if we want to talk about an organization that is giving.
Well, yeah, and the Hall Foundation and the Hall family's been in Eastern Idaho a long time and has done well for themselves. And it's not just about profits. I mean, that's part of it. But to put a foundation together that gets out and does the things, and we're going to talk with Sonny about that. And what they're up to and what they've been doing.
They're doing a ton internationally, and plus the local stuff that they do, and their companies growing. So they're the companies that own all the good to goes, and they are. I just heard of another acquisition of many more stores that they added in Texas, and man, this company is doing so well. And their foundation is in the center of Idaho Falls.
Yeah, I think
17th Street in Woodruff. You can't get much more. You're at that.
I'm right
same
across
corner.
the street from them. Yep.
So we have Sunny Harker. She's the director of the Hall Foundation, and we're excited to have her on the show today. And by the way, she's part of the Hall family.
Yeah. That's not
part of blood too.
Yeah,
she's a great pick to have there running the foundation.
Yep.
And Sunny Hall Harker is going to be here. We're excited to have her on the show. So let's talk about our sponsors. We couldn't do the show without them.
Yeah, BBSI has been with us from the beginning. They great company if you're looking for payroll needs, if you're looking for new hires, if you're looking for sales strategies. I mean, they just
anything
do so
human
much.
resources. Yep. BBSI is the top company, and man, we went to lunch with him last week, and he was telling us all about they're expanding even more into more and more states. So absolutely great human resource, the best human resource company in the area. And SBDC?
Yeah, they are the best kept secret in Idaho. But if you're starting a business or just looking to level up on your business, coming and getting some free consultation and some of the classes that are offered there.
We got a solid lineup of classes. We'll be having them on the show next week to talk about some of the trainings we have coming up next year. We've already booked out the whole year of training, so we'll have that next week on the show.
Yeah, so. Volpine Marketing, Ryan Jose
keeps us up to date. I don't even have to check it because I just know it's up to date. He just knows it.
He just knows how to make that thing work. But
he does.
Any sort of anyone looking for marketing or video work or website development or any SEO. That Volpine Marketing, they really know what they're doing.
And speaking of videography, the guy that's behind the camera here, New Line Media, keeps us up and produced every single week. Amazing videography works. He's got a drone. He can even do that. I think at the end of the show today, we're going to show the Innovation Center's ad that he put together, and so that'll be just an example of the work that he did for us at the Idaho Innovation Center. So he's does a phenomenal job. Check him out on Facebook, New Line Media, and the Idaho Innovation Center. We can't do it without them too. So.
And that's you got any opening spots now?
We do. We've got a couple offices, prime offices coming available that people have graduating and moving on. So we've got a couple offices in January that will be available. So.
And can you talk about your project you've been working on?
We do. In fact, it's going to be on the show next week. So we are launching a new commercial kitchen available for the people of Eastern Idaho, and we're going to have the main chef for Rebel Bakery. He's our kitchen manager, and he's going to be on the show next week. So.
Yeah, so if someone needs kitchen space or R&D or catering or all the above, we got it here.
If you need a legalized space, ours is by far the biggest and best in the area. We just passed our inspection here about an hour ago.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple little things we got to do, but minor. They'll be so easy to do. We'll have them done in a couple hours. But yeah, we're excited. That comes out launching in January, so we'll be talking all about it. We may even do a show live there.
Sounds good.
We'll be doing that.
Cook
Sounds
up some
like
food
we could
or
be
something.
doing. So yeah, we will have tons of food in the commercial kitchen. So we'll be talking about that. But let's talk about the training. We have a training starting in January. It's called Strength-Based Leadership. This is going to be a phenomenal class. Christine Garner is going to be instructing it. This is, I think, the second or third year. I think third year that we've done it. She just does a phenomenal with the class. If you want to know what your team's strengths are, you take a test on the first day of this, and then you know what your strengths are. And she teaches it's a 3-week course, starts on the 11th of January. And so if you have not signed up for this class, you need to. It's $199. That includes the test and the book.
And the book. I took this class last year, and I thought it was great. I would recommend it to anyone.
Yep. So. It's if you want to know what your strengths are and how you can best lead your company and your organizations, this is the class that you should be in. Only $199, but all the extras that come with it is absolutely phenomenal. But you will understand what kind of a leader you are and how you can best lead your team. So if you haven't signed up for that, get signed up for that. That starts in January 11th. So let's talk about the Hall Foundation.
Yeah, let's do that. I think we run a video and then
this video here, it kind of really summarizes some of the good things that they do. This video was actually last year. But I'm sure they'll be producing a similar one. But this talks about some of the things that the Hall Foundation did in 2021. And we look forward to learning more about what they've done here in 2022. But let's watch this video, and then we'll welcome Sunny Hall-Harker onto the set.
Great.
Wow, and that was 2021, and they just said they wrapped up the video for 2022. We could have been the unveiling of their video.
Well, we'll share it on our site. Right?
We will. But hey, just so everybody knows, just the housekeeping here, we have added some features to chatting with Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching this live, you can interact, and we'll have those questions put right on the screen. Kind of something new that we've got going, that Tyson got going. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in there. So welcome, Sunny Harker.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's exciting to see that, because I think a lot of times people want to do good things, right? And to be able to put a foundation together in 2015, why don't you start with what kind of drove that? Because you've been with it since the beginning, correct?
Right.
And so what was the Hall family just sat down and said, hey, we got to do better, or we can help more people, or what was really the driving factor to even getting the Hall Foundation going?
So my parents lived in Mexico City for 3 years, and at that time they wanted to find ways to help people help themselves.
Yeah.
And they felt like education was the key to be able to do that. And so they started this foundation in 2015 with the purpose of helping international students receive higher education. And at the time, we were bringing students here to the United States to receive education. And during, when COVID happened, we had to reevaluate our program. And instead of bringing students to the United States, we now keep students in their own countries, and they are able to be online students through BYU Idaho.
So do you view that as kind of a blessing? Because I know when we start out, we look at, this is how we've always done it. And I hate that sentence of, this is how we've always done it. So COVID, is that viewed as a blessing, because you can probably impact more lives having it be online versus bringing them to Eastern Idaho?
Absolutely, but you're right. At the beginning, it didn't feel like a blessing.
Yeah.
It felt like a curse.
Yeah.
And it was difficult to reevaluate and look at other opportunities to still help students. But why it's turned into a blessing is because, like you said, we're able to help so many more students. Now that we don't bring people to the United States, we don't have those travel costs. And
housing and everything else. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. So by staying in their own country, they are able to do better in school, and we're able to support them for a longer time and pay for their tuition. And then the other great thing about it is that when you come to the United States, it's hard to leave the United States because it's pretty great here. Yes. And so by leaving students in their own countries, they stay in their own countries, and then they are able to really pass that forward and better their communities.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just kind of set this up. So the Hall Foundation is run under the umbrella of the Hall Petroleum Company. I mean, what is the Hall?
Brad Hall Company.
So
yes, and there's about a little over 15 companies that fall under that umbrella.
Mm-hmm. So all of those companies, the Good to Go is one that they'll probably know here in Eastern Idaho.
Yes.
But there's many of them that you just don't know that support others. But there are 15 companies under that umbrella that all are part of this foundation.
Right. So they all set aside a percentage of their proceeds, and those go towards this foundation. And then we look for opportunities to do good.
Yeah. So in the beginning, and I kind of like that, it was pretty laser focused, but it really has expanded outside of just education, and that is big, because you can really not just impact the lives of the people, but by them staying in their countries, there's really a reach into the country itself in terms of leveling up and that. But what then was the next move, and what all are you currently doing?
Great, thank you for asking. So in 2020, we decided, let's do more. And let's find a way to include all of our employees and give them the opportunity to get involved and do good within their communities. And so we expanded, like you said, and we kind of started just in Idaho, seeing how it would go, doing a little bit of a trial period. And now we just look for opportunities that our employees can be hands-on. So there's always a financial component with it, where we support whatever organization we are sponsoring. But then we also like to find some way to be hands-on. So just for example, we provide hygiene kits in our area to local schools. And we helped all the way from Pocatello to Rigby this year. There was 1,500 hygiene kits. And so the Hall Foundation pays for all of the supplies. There was about 20 items in each hygiene kit. Wow. And then our employees, during work hours, they leave their desks and they come over to a location and they put together all these hygiene kits. And what's incredible is when you have this many employees to draw from, it took about 32 minutes to put together 1,500 hygiene kits.
Wow, that's pretty good.
32 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, 1,500 kits. Wow, and that's surely benefited.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is since then I've had a few opportunities to hear the outcomes of those hygiene kits, and it's amazing when you're worried about where you're going to sleep that night, or where your next meal is. You're not thinking about deodorant. Yeah. You're not thinking about how you're going to wash your hair, and so
brush your teeth. Yeah.
Exactly. And there are a lot of people in our community that are in need, and you wouldn't realize it, especially in the high school population. I think there's a lot of shame around that, and so kids try to hide that. We were able to give those out to a lot of kids from at Jefferson High School, and they said their school has never smelled better the next day. So that was just one of the projects we do. So just an example of the hands-on component.
Yeah.
Wow. And then in that video, it said that you helped some kids with foster kids for Christmas gifts. And last year you did, I think it said in the video there, 125 or something like that. And this year, how many were you able to help?
There'll be 175 children that we will help. We work with The Village, which is out of Blackfoot. They are a support center for foster families. And we provide Christmas gifts for those children. We do a want and a need for each child.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That is amazing. I mean, I stepped up and we helped one family that had six of them in it, and I thought that was really good. I just got dwarfed by a whole bunch there. So. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal that you're helping those. What are some other organizations? I know you were involved with the coats.
Right, Wall of Warmth.
Okay.
So we work with Valerie Blanchard with Wall of Warmth, and this year we were able to expand to 7 different locations throughout eastern Idaho, and we sort of lost track of the coats after a time.
Yeah, she was on the show. She was on the show earlier this month. When she was here with her son, but Valerie's a good friend. But she was just saying it's hard for us to keep track. She was thinking it was going to beat their record of over 6,000, they thought. But
we think we were closer to 7,000 coats this year. Wow. And what's amazing about this is we just ask people in the community to please donate a gently used coat. And then our employees, they get together and they take all of these coats, they sort through them, they zip them up, make sure everything is in working condition, put them on hangers, and then they get them ready to be put on the walls. A lot of our employees also man those walls. And by manning those walls, that means they put the coats out on the walls, and then we probably restocked those walls about 4 or 5 times. And what is crazy to me is you'll restock the coats, and within a couple of hours, sometimes 24 hours, they're gone.
Yeah.
They are all gone. So out of 7,000 coats, they all went to someone in need. Yeah. And I get all these reports back, and once there was a teacher that came that had a list and of students that needed coats, and she took her lunch hour and came to the wall and got coats for all of these kids in her class that needed coats. One of the difficult things about the Wall of Warmth is that so many of the people that need these coats do not have access to transportation. Right. And so we sure appreciate somebody like this teacher that will take her time to help these children receive the coats that they need.
Wow, and the Good to Go was a place for the dropping off, and I'm sure their employees helped. But that is an absolutely great thing that is so valuable in this community. So
then this is your efforts here in Eastern Idaho, but the foundation expands beyond, because your businesses aren't just in Idaho. So what happens? How do you manage that? Because you're here in Eastern Idaho. And you guys have a footprint in Texas and Colorado and Nevada and Arizona, and it's expanding, right? So that there, because even pulling off the Wall of Warmth and really jumping in with Valerie or doing the education, that's a lot of doing, right? So how do you manage that as you move forward and you're working in these other communities?
Well, to be quite honest, it's hard. Yeah. It's difficult, but it's not one of us that does it. It's an entire team of employees that make all of this happen. So when we talk about like the Christmas gifts, it's our employees that fill the wish of these children and purchase the gifts. And when we talk about doing coats, it's our employees that come and put the coats on the hangers and man the walls. It's their time that they donate to be able to help in their communities.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. The impact, and she was telling us that you're now doing it in all these other states, and you're getting all the employees in those states to buy into this as well.
Well, it's not a hard sell.
Yeah.
Because like you guys said before, everybody wants to do something good. Everybody wants to help their neighbor. It's just hard sometimes to see how you can do it. So I feel like my job is to give that opportunity and make it easy.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, then I've won, because if I can give the opportunity, people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
They want to help each other. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's a great story in the Bible where friends are bringing another friend to Christ to help him, the man of the palsy, right?
Right.
And they actually ripped open the roof and brought him down. And sometimes we're the people that are got the corners of the mattress and we're taking them, and sometimes we're the one that's on the on the mattress itself. But I think we prefer to be the one pulling, doing the heavy lifting, as opposed to being the one receiving. But just great stuff that you're out there doing. So what are some of because there's also this cynic in me that, well, no good deed goes unpunished, right? But what are some of the great things that you've seen come from that? We'll stay away from the things, because everybody takes heat no matter what, right?
Right.
But what are some of the things then that you feel that you're doing in your foundation to really move the needle in helping humanity?
Well, there's a lot of different things. I think part of it is that we win the hearts of our employees.
Yeah.
And that's why I would encourage any business to do something similar, is because you find a greater purpose, than just the bottom line.
Yeah.
So that's one reason. It helps with employee morale, and it helps with employee retention, and just the overall feeling that you have in an office. You become a team when you're working together to help someone else. So that's on the employer side why it's so valuable. And then what we've done in the community is, sometimes these things seem small. Like we did a book drive this year for schools in Blackfoot and also the reservation. And we were able to collect 8,000 books this year and donate those books.
Wow.
And they were gently used books. And I think all of us have, extra books that are lying around that our kids are done with, that they've read and they're not going to read again. And so we just asked people to donate their books. And it seems like a small thing, but then when you're somebody on the other end receiving it, it's not just about the book. It's about the fact that you realize someone cares about you.
Yeah.
And they don't expect anything in return. They just care about you, that you matter to them.
Yeah.
So it just, all around, everyone wins.
Wow. So kind of talk about all the different, I know you guys do a blood drive, and then the picture there was helping with the Dash for Down syndrome. So talk about some of the other things that the foundation is involved on.
One of our big events that we do is called Challenge Hunger. We do it in March every year. And we include our Good to Go stores, and we had this last year a 50-cent button. So anytime a patron would come into the store, they would be asked if they would like to donate 50 cents to their local food bank. And 50 cents feels small, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to miss it. And so most people donated. Well, through 50-cent donations, we were able to raise $37,000
Wow.
for local food pantries. And then in addition to
That just provides so much food at needed times like Easter probably, and Christmas, Thanksgiving. That's amazing.
So we'll do that again in March this year. And then in addition to that, our hands-on component with our employees is we gave them an opportunity to volunteer their time at food pantries throughout the West. And then also in this area in Idaho, we provided food for children during spring break. A lot of children that are on free and reduced lunch rely on their meals through the schools. But during spring break, those schools are closed down. And so some of those children will go without food that week. And we provided basically meal kits that those kids could take home. Easy things like microwave mac and cheese, or microwave packets of oatmeal. Stuff that's really easy. And we provided enough for a week for these children that would need this. And we work through the school counselors, and they know who's in need. And it's just a really rewarding thing to be able to help people.
Absolutely great. Man, all the different organizations that's being helped by the Hall Foundation. Talk to us about your dad's purpose in doing this. And I know that your brothers, or Logan's involved, and the other brothers are involved with this, and kind of talk about how it's a family ordeal here.
Well, we actually have a board of directors that oversees us, and the only person that's actually a family member that sits on the board of directors is myself. Yes. But then what we do is we have a committee, and we have a committee that is in Idaho. It's called our Idaho chapter. We have a committee that's in Arizona, our Arizona chapter. We're soon to expand to have committees in our other areas. And These committees meet once a month, and they are made up of employees from all of our different companies, and they meet once a month and they decide on the projects. So as requests come in or needs come in, they evaluate what they feel like is the best way to use the funds, and also provides that hands-on experience for employees. So that's what we do. And then that group of employees that sit on the committee, they also plan these events, and they work out the logistics, and then they carry out the events. And it's just a really great team to be a part of. So, and you know, everybody from my family, the Hall family, we sort of feel like all of these students and all of our employees are just an extension of our family. Yeah. That we love them like they're our own. Yeah. And we're so glad to be able to work together.
And if you know your dad, this is just the epitome. And you'll see that question that I was putting it on to, you know, the focus on the family, and she took it away from the family. Yeah. And it, rightfully so, but the business that your family has built up is absolutely phenomenal. But you can see that you're empowering all of the employees to be able to take it on from what they've set up.
My dad actually said last night at our company Christmas party, he said this is his dream come true, is that he was able to build something, that he was able to build something big enough that he's able to now give back. That he feels like it's full circle and his dream has now come true.
Wow, fantastic.
Absolutely phenomenal. And there's no bigger man has a bigger heart than Brad Hall and the family, and just it's absolutely the great things that you guys are doing in this community are absolutely wonderful. We always ask them to give some entrepreneurial advice. Oh, by the way, Sunny has a master's degree in public administration, so she's been. Not only does she have the degree, but so she comes. From some great blood of being smart in entrepreneurs. And I want to read a couple things here. Her entrepreneurial advice was to take every opportunity to educate yourself, both formally and informally. Education leads to opportunity. Find mentors to help guide and direct you on the way. Absolutely great advice, and you've taken this advice and moved it into. Did you say how many students you're helping in South America or in Mexico? Sorry.
Well, it's actually all throughout the world now.
Really?
The majority of our students come from Africa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Believe it or not, but we have over 500 students.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's fantastic, and that's been going on since 2015.
Correct.
Right? So no, that's. And so have you been able to watch some of those students as they graduate, the things they've been able to do? Because probably in the beginning, as you mentioned, they probably didn't want to go back home. They probably, a fair amount probably stayed here, right? So maybe not, I don't know. But,
there's some that are still here, some that are still at BYU Idaho campus, some that have gone on to graduate programs, some that have married a United States citizen and have chosen to stay. We also have a fair amount that have gone back to their countries. Yeah. And we're just so proud of them. We see so much change come through education. And you don't just educate a person, you educate generations when you educate somebody.
Yes,
and it just changes the trajectory of their entire family tree. And it's just a really neat thing to see.
Wow. The amazing things that the Hall Foundation with the Brad Hall companies is absolutely doing. Is there anything else that you wanted the people here of Idaho to know about the Hall Foundation?
That's a good question. So, first of all, I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the foundation. We're fairly new in this area. I think,
but the impact is amazing. I can't get over how much impact you're making.
We actually have more followers on social media in Africa than we do in the United States.
Wow.
So we're well known in other countries, but we're fairly new to this area, and I've just been so appreciative of people trusting us and opening their doors throughout the community and letting us be a part of their organizations. All the schools that have, opened their doors and let down their guard and said, yes, please come be a part of this. Let us help you. I think a lot of times there's hesitation at first, like what do you want in return? Yeah. And it's just been a really great partnership. And we just want to do good. We just want to help. We want to find opportunities. We want to make a difference in our community. This is where we live. This is where we work. We love our community, and we just want to better it in any way that we possibly can.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that you let people know, look, you just need to give 50 cents, right? I mean, it's just the widow's mite at that point, right? Just a little bit, because that little bit, and with your reach, it turns out to be
37,000.
Turns out to be a big deal. So that's fantastic.
Adds up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. So, Sonny, we wish you the best with the Hall Foundation. Absolutely a great giving organization here. If you can't tell all of the different types of organizations that they've impacted over the short 5 to 7 years, I guess, that they've been going here in Eastern Idaho, absolutely, and not just through Eastern Idaho.
Globally. Yeah.
Globally, Africa, Mexico, South America, let alone Texas, Arizona, and all the states that you're in here in this area. So absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for making that kind of an impact with the world. So usually we talk about impact people make within their own communities, but they're way beyond that.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
So absolutely great. Talk about this quote that you have.
So I love this quote by Desmond Tutu. It's do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. And this just really impacted me because I feel like so much of what I do personally and also on the foundation level is small. It's really little things. I mean, it's a hygiene kit here, it's, a book here, it's a coat here, and they seem like small things, but when you add them together, it makes a big impact. And I know I already said this, but the person that receives, it can mean the world, to them. And I also just feel like it makes that person feel like they're loved, like they matter in this world, and you just never know what kind of an impact that can make.
Yeah.
500 students that they're, forever changed. For generations, they will be changed because of that education that they can get, thanks to the Brad Hall companies and the Hall Foundation. So thank you. I've never heard that quote, and that is absolutely great. It fits for you really well. So very good. Well, thank you, Sonny, and we wish you the best. We're going to transition right into a little small training, and really this training, I don't have a lot to say, but I really feel that this video that we're going to show at the end really says way more than what we could talk about as far as leadership. So on the top there, you'll see leaders make a difference whenever and wherever they can. And that's just one of my favorite thoughts about leadership. I teach many classes on leadership, and that's one of my favorites that I got from this book. And then at the bottom, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. That's by Helen Keller. So absolutely a couple great thoughts, but we're gonna show a video here that's about the essence of leadership. But we have some gifts. The Hall Foundation brought some gifts. So we have some mugs that's from the Wounded Warrior that has the Hall Foundation logo. So we've got a couple of these mugs. We've got some T-shirts that we're going to give away. Let's ask a couple trivia questions. So Tyson, put my cell phone number up there. And by the way, we've had some of these gifts that some people decide that they may not get them, but some of the gifts have gone unclaimed. So it doesn't matter if you're watching this a week, 2 weeks later. Text me. Yeah. We would love to hear from you. But one of the questions is your father served in a certain area that in a certain country.
In a certain country, that might
country
clarify,
that
he served in a few areas.
Yes,
but there was a certain country that Sonny brought up during it.
So if you can mention that, she also mentioned that the Hall Foundation has a lot of followers from another country.
Yeah.
So if you can remember any of those countries that Sonny talked about. And also, let's just throw a third question in there. They help us sponsor Dash for Something.
Yeah.
And it was in the video.
That's a tougher question, but I like that.
It is, but if you live here in Eastern Idaho, you know where that is. So great job. We appreciate you bringing the gifts. And we'll give those out. And we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Next week's show, like we talked about at the beginning, we've got the commercial kitchen coming in this area. This is the biggest, newest thing that's happened in this area. So we've invited our chef, our kitchen manager. He's going to come and all talk about what the purposes of this. We're going to have a big grand opening, and so he will be on the show on next Tuesday, the 20th, and he'll be the last show of the season.
Wow. Great.
So we're excited to have that. We're going to take the week off between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll be back with some bigger and better things coming in 2023. So stay tuned. Get texting me if you know the answer to those questions. And thank you, Sonny, and thank you for the impact that you and the Hall Foundation is doing in this area and throughout the world. So, thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Give us a thumbs up. We have every thumbs up at every show. Thank you, everybody.